Today I started loving you again. I'm right back.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank George, your host for Let's Talk About Music. Today, we're going to be discussing karaoke. If you don't know what that is, I'll try and define it for you. Karaoke is an activity where music is played and people sing to the music, but the words are up on a screen. You have a karaoke DJ, if you want to call them that, or KJ, and they set up all of the different variables, volume for the music, volume for the singer, special effects like reverb that enhance the quality of the performance. And every person is a performer, in my opinion. And it is said that karaoke was invented by Filipinos. I've also heard that it was invented by the Japanese. The first thing I had read about it is that two Filipino fellows invented karaoke and that the Japanese picked it up. And then from other sources I hear, no. It was the Japanese that invented this. Okay, so regardless, it's a beautiful activity that millions of people who enjoy singing, and the benefits of singing, which are many and which we will be discussing with our very special guest, as she has been nicknamed Karaoke Cindy, a lady who has done karaoke as a karaoke DJ for more than 20 years. She has also sponsored and been host to international competitions that have even been televised over ABC. And she's been to places like Moscow, Russia, Sweden, Finland, in order to be a participant and a hostess to these karaoke events. So with that, let us begin our interview with Karaoke Cindy. Well, Cindy, I'm glad you showed up. How are you today?
Good, Frank. Thanks for having me on today.
It's my pleasure. I wanted to discuss karaoke with someone, and of course you came to mind. I did find out that you have a nickname, Karaoke Cindy. Beautiful. Now let me ask you something. You really like karaoke, don't you?
I do. I kind of got into it by accident, but 30 years in the automotive parts and repair industry, and just kind of caught my attention, and so I went for it. So I got a second career.
Wow, you switched from just a regular everyday job to being a karaoke DJ, and how long did you do that?
Oh gosh, I've been into it for about 20 years now.
That's a long time. Now, when I described karaoke as being an activity where people read the words off the screen and sing to music provided by a karaoke DJ who controls the volume for the singer and the music and provides special effects and such for the voice. And how did you get started with karaoke? How did you find it?
Well, they're not karaoke DJs. They're karaoke KJs.
Okay.
A karaoke jockey. A DJ is a disc jockey. So that's why they call them KJs. But I've loved to sing all my life. My mom got me into singing with just playing music around the house and taking me to musicals. So I had always loved to sing. I had done karaoke a couple times at some bars. It was fun, but that still didn't really get me into it. I was nervous about singing in front of people, so going to a bar and singing just made me too nervous. So what had happened was I had some surgery, and I had gained weight after my surgery. So one day I walked by my TV, which was on, and it just so happened that Oprah was on. This was like 20 years ago or longer. And Oprah had Christy Alley on. And Christy was talking about losing weight. So that kind of caught my attention. I kind of stopped and like, wait, I wanted to see how, as Kirstie Alley, how she had lost her weight. So she was talking about what she did is join a dance studio. And she was dancing and she loved to dance. So she was dancing and losing weight. And I thought, well, I love to sing. So the next day I went out and bought a karaoke machine and put it in my living room. My first CD I bought was a Beatles CD because I figured, well, I know all the Beatles songs. So I bought a couple CDs, and within that week, I went back down and I bought more CDs and more CDs, and I just became an addict. And I would sit there in front of that karaoke machine and just sing and dance and sing and dance, and the weight started coming off. I'm like, oh my God, it's so much fun. I mean, I was singing for hours each day, and I was getting my exercise, but it wasn't like exercise. It was like fun. So I really enjoyed it. The first time I had ever really did karaoke publicly where I felt comfortable with is my dad was having a party on his boat. It was near Port Orchard. They would have an annual concert and weekend party down near the water. So my dad parked his boat down at the docks and he says, hey, why don't you bring your karaoke system and we'll have a little karaoke party. So I did. I brought my system down there. We set it up on the boat. It's a huge boat. We started singing karaoke, invited some friends over, and before you know it, just probably 60, 70, 80 people were on the docks watching us do karaoke on the boat. And my dad had to grab one of his friends and say, you need to watch the door because all these strangers were coming in. I want to sing, I want to sing. And it was amazing. I was in front of my family on my dad's boat, so I felt comfortable. And we had a blast. I mean, we talked about that for years. What a great party that was. So I found out that I loved to host karaoke and have other people sing. I do have a background in recording and mixing sound. My ex-husband was a musician, and we ended up having a home studio, recording studio, and he taught me how to mix all the different levels, all the instruments, all the vocals, how to set the mid ranges and the high ranges and the bass ranges for the particular songs or singers. So setting up equipment, all that kind of stuff. So I had learned how to do that in my 20s. And so I had that part down, setting it up, mixing it. As the longer I did it, the better I got at mixing. I tried to make each singer sound the best I could make them sound. And there's like little secrets, little things that you can do to tweak a singer to make them sound good, even if they're really not, naturally a great singer. I mean, I do my best to make them sound as good as I can.
Okay, okay, good singers, bad singers. After a while, for me, all of it really is entertainment. I consider everybody that steps up to sing a song to be a performer. Some are really great, some not so good, but they've got natural charisma. After a while, we enjoy hearing them, and we look forward to seeing them again because they've got special something in terms of their personality that makes you want to see them. Like folks step up to sing their karaoke song, and some of them, like me, I'm very stiff. I'm petrified that people are out there, so I lose myself in the screen from which I'm reading the words to the song, and sort of protect myself that way. But I'm also trying to develop some kind of stage presence using my hands, maybe trying to dance a little bit, which horrifies me that anybody would see me do that. But it's another aspect of the performance which engages people more. I mean, if a person's just looking at the screen and never at the audience, not as fulfilling as, like when you see singers who perform professionally, they are singing to each and every single person. It's like a personal experience for every person that's there, right?
Well, you got all kinds. Okay. I mean, there are some guys or some people that get up there and they're not hitting the timing right. They're not really watching the screen, so they're kind of messing up on the words.
But even that can be entertaining.
But the stage presence is so hilarious and so fun
Yeah.
that they're up there dancing or doing their little
Hmm.
show or whatever. It's very entertaining to watch them, where other people can actually stand there and not do anything. They have such great voices. You're just caught up in their voice.
Hmm.
So, you can have one or the other. You can have both. If you want to, I mean, there are karaoke competitions. I was involved in one that's international. I mean, we went to Russia, Sweden, Finland, Ireland, all in the name of karaoke competitions. And in these competitions, you can't look at the screen at all.
Oh,
Okay?
really?
Not looking at the screen, you're going to get deducted. That's part of stage presence.
Yeah, that is
You
important.
better-
I'm glad you brought that up. Forgive me for interrupting you, but it comes to mind. For example, if you're watching like Tom Jones, Engelbert Humperdinck, any of the great singers sing, if these guys were looking at a screen and not at the audience, not looking at the women that are out there that went crazy for them, it wouldn't be such a great experience whatsoever. We
Well, but then again, if you have somebody like Barbara Streisand or Whitney Houston, they just stood there and sang.
hmm
So,
But they were singing to people. They weren't looking. They were looking at their audience in that sense, making eye contact and such. They weren't looking at a screen like I do, isolating themselves and not looking at the audience. And I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to improve. There's always something to be improved upon in terms of one's karaoke performance. Would you not agree?
yes, looking at the screen is definitely a safety net.
Oh yeah.
It's true. Yes. And sometimes it's just, like I know the songs. Most of the times I've sang the songs so many times. I know them by heart. Like I wouldn't even need to look at the screen on some of these songs. But again, that's my safety net. It's like, oh God. It depends on where I'm singing. Like I had hosted karaoke at the American Legion, like, I don't know, 13 years. And I'd go out there and I'd go into the crowd. I'd sing to, some of the people that I knew. And I was just felt very comfortable, just kind of getting crazy
Hmm.
out there, And,
Hmm.
but, I just moved recently and I don't really know the people. They don't know me. So, yeah, I'm sitting there looking at the screen.
So
So,
you went from New Mexico, which is where you resided for a number of years, to
yeah,
Mesquite, Nevada, which is where you're at right now, right?
yeah, but I really don't want to, let the world know where I'm living right now. I don't know why, but I'm just kind of
Okay.
shy in that way. So, but yeah, I'm no longer living in New Mexico. Everybody asks me, where are you at? Where are you at? And I'm like, well, if you call me, I might tell you.
Okay. Privacy or privacy. Okay. Yeah. Have you found differences in how people react to karaoke where you used to live versus where you're living now? And at one point you lived in Hawaii. I don't know if you ever did karaoke in Hawaii.
No, I didn't. I did go to one karaoke club and it was so spread out. They were actually passing the microphone around to where they were sitting. There was no stage. So you
My,
couldn't
my,
even
my,
see
my.
the person that was singing. It was crazy. I mean, I'm sure it's not all like that, but I was in Hawaii for business purposes and it wasn't karaoke. So
Okay.
I actually didn't sing for over 5.5 years. I truly missed it. I did have an app on my phone, so I'd sing around my house on my little phone, but publicly, no, I didn't do it. And I miss
Hmm.
hosting karaoke. I would love to do it again. I love it. I love that job more than anything that I've ever done.
I want to ask you because you have a background that most of us don't have. You helped to host karaoke events internationally. It was on ABC, am I correct Am I correct?
I was a producer on an ABC TV show called Karaoke Battle USA. I mean, we could do a whole show on that. But yeah, I just kind of got lucky. I got the first, how I got involved in competitions is I started off with a little local competition, and it was just a fundraiser for the American Legion for our veterans. And that's how it started off. Let's raise some money, have a little competition. I got some businesses to donate some gifts. And so we had a little local American Legion competition. It was packed. I mean, standing room only. They came out and supported all the singers. It was so much fun. Then I met somebody that owned a Budweiser distributorship in El Paso. And I told him about it. He says, well, let's have more fundraisers. So he gave me 3 Bud Light guitars. Like these guitars were like, I don't know, about $800, $900 guitars. And they said Bud Light right on them. They're really cool guitars. So I was involved with the Fiesta Committee. It's a nonprofit organization that puts on a fiesta annually in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. And they were always looking for money to raise money for their fiesta. So I'm like, okay, let's have a citywide competition. So we did. We had different venues, the whole competitions, and the winners were going to win the, bless you.
Thank
The
you.
winners were going to win these guitars. So we got a huge turnout. The word got out. I got people from Albuquerque, from other towns were coming in. And then what we did is we had the finals. We had semifinals, but we had the finals at Fiesta on the big stage there in Truth or Consequences. And it was the first time we had ever had karaoke at Fiesta. And it ended up being a huge success. The town came out and supported it. And I remember at the end of that competition, it ran into the evening. I was there loading up my equipment in the pavilion, and this guy named Ron, who was a local, born and raised there, he came up to me and goes, Cindy, you know, you really brought the town together, and it was a great fundraiser, and you know what? You should do this statewide. And I looked at him, I'm like, statewide? I barely pulled this off, you know? Here I am loading up all my equipment in the dark, and I'm like, statewide, that just seems a little overwhelming. I don't think I could ever do that. Well, he planted it into my head. I'm like, well, why couldn't I, you know? So anyway, I ended up knowing that I really needed help. I couldn't do it by myself. So somebody had called me one evening. They said, hey, there's somebody in town from Santa Fe. You really need to meet this person. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm pretty much in for the night. I don't think I'm gonna come out. He goes, no, 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 no. You really need to come to this gallery and meet this person. So I did, and started talking. And it turned out he had worked on a political. He worked for a politician. I'm not going to name any names, but he worked on, you know, getting votes and all that. And he had traveled all around New Mexico just, you know, trying to get votes for this person. So he's like, well, you know what? I've done statewide events in the political realm. Why couldn't we just take that and, you know, apply it to karaoke? We could go to all these different cities in New Mexico and hold competitions and then have a finals right there in Truth or Consequences. So we worked out a business plan, and before you know it, we had the largest, I got a little flyer, we had the largest statewide competition ever in the United States at that time. The reason why I know that, why it was the largest, we had over 70 singers, is because Chartbusters Karaoke, who happened to be the biggest provider of karaoke music at the time, I had called them about getting sponsorship, and they're like, wow, we've never seen a statewide competition with so many singers. And so I caught the attention of Chartbusters, Talent Quest, Karaoke World Championship. Before you know it, Chartbuster kind of spread my name all out there in the big wigs of karaoke. So I was getting a lot of phone calls, I was getting a lot of sponsorships, and that's how I eventually ended up getting involved in the national and international competition, is just by having first a little local one, city one, state one, and then got into national and international.
I want to ask you about, you know, obviously, like we had discussed earlier, that you went to about 5 different countries, was it?
Yes, every year they would have the they would have the world championship. Each country that signs up to be involved in this, each country sends their top male and top female singer to the world finals. So, like we had Russia, we had China, we had Philippines, we had just Ireland, Sweden, Denmark, all these countries. And so the license holders of each country hold their own local finals, and they have a state finals, and they have a national finals. And the top male and female singer from those national finals go to the world championship every year. So the first one I ever went to was in Finland, Helsinki, Finland. Then we had one in Ireland and Russia, Moscow, Russia. And the last one that I was involved with was in Sweden.
Okay,
And,
quick
and
question. Quick question. You have all these people, different countries, different languages. Did they all sing in English, or did they sing in their, uh, spoken
well,
tongues?
some of them sang in their native languages. The people that could not speak English had interpreters, because the year that I did, the first year I got involved was in Helsinki, Finland. I was actually the host of a live stream red carpet where I would interview the singers. So the woman that had won that year was from Russia, and she had an interpreter. She didn't know English, so I'm interviewing her on live stream. And I asked her, I said, both of your songs were American songs in English, but yet you don't speak English. So why did you choose a Beyonce song to sing for the championship? And she says, because America's got the best music in the world. So a lot of these countries, they just fall in love with these American songs, and they learn them in English, even though they don't speak the language.
Okay. So cultural differences in terms of, the countries you went to, the reactions to karaoke. Is everybody that likes to sing, they just like it, doesn't matter what culture or what country they're from. In that way, it's a unifier, is it?
I was pretty much, involved in this karaoke competition. So the audience members, the people that were participating, organizing it, of course, they love karaoke. But I can't say the whole town does. One place I did found, I mean, every place I went, every country I went to, they would have a karaoke party for us that had traveled all this way to go to that country, that town, and they would host these karaoke evenings. I mean, they
Hmm.
weren't competitions, it was just anybody could go and sing. So we all had that in common. We all loved karaoke. And I found that the people that were the craziest about karaoke, in my opinion, because of how many venues they had and how many people would turn out. I mean, this country would bring 40, 50, 60 people to support their singers to these other countries.
Whoa.
All the way from their country to another country, just all in the name of karaoke. And that was Ireland. Ireland, just, I mean, they love karaoke. Yeah.
Well, they're sort of famous for singing and drinking. So, and that's another thing. Karaoke, frequently, what we say is that drinking and karaoke go together because the events are frequently held in bars, right?
I don't agree at
Okay.
all. I've had a lot of singers that don't drink.
Okay.
I mean, they do support the venue. They'll
Yes.
order their water, their soft drinks, they'll order food, because if they're not supporting the venue, then there's not going to have karaoke.
There's not gonna. My
But
my experience very limited compared to yours. It's
Frank,
always at a bar.
well,
And I.
that's that's who hosts it,
Yes.
bars and restaurants. I mean,
Right.
but um, again, American Legion, a lot of elderly people there, and these competitions, there was no drinking going on. If you want to win a competition,
Oh, you're right. I can see that.
I saw one guy that, I mean, I'm talking about the contestants, okay?
Hmm.
I saw one guy, he was a younger guy from Albuquerque, and he came to our state finals. And the first day he sang, it was a 3-day competition. The first day he sang, he blew everybody away. Everybody's like, oh, Edward's going to win. Edward's going to win. Oh, the guy was fantastic. And so that night, I hosted, I made arrangements to have one of the biggest bar venues in town host karaoke. And so we all went down there, and Edward just drank like crazy. The next day he comes out and his voice is cracking.
Oh, he destroyed himself. And yeah, people talk about liquid courage, having a drink or two to calm themselves down before they perform and sing their song. And I think that works, but take it beyond a certain point, and we wind up with what you just mentioned. When I briefly did the KJ thing, I had a guy come on that he was so snockered. He just sat there holding the microphone and blurted out a word or two, and that
I
was his whole performance.
You can call it liquid courage. I call it actually making you sound worse, because people come in, they'll sing their first song before they start drinking. They sound great. And it
Hmm.
could be after one drink, they are not singing as good.
Mm.
People think that they sound better, but I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I don't drink. So I see how somebody will come in and sing really good and have a drink or two, and it's like, huh, they sounded better sober. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You start slurring when you're drinking.
Sure.
I mean, it affects your voice. So the sober singers are the best singers. If you need alcohol to sing, you're doing it for your own courage, but it's not making you a better singer.
I hear you. I hear you. There's a trade-off involved there. Okay, so why do people sing? It goes beyond. Oh, gee, I like it. There's something much deeper to that, and I've asked a lot of people. Something positive happens to the human mind and body, I would say. What's your opinion?
Well, I've read a lot of research about it, and I've spoke to people around the world about singing. And one of my big questions is, does singing help heal you in any way?
Mm.
It helped heal me in the sense of helping me lose weight. So that worked for me. I had one of my singers, one of the competitions that I had in Alamogordo, the singer was a neurosurgeon, and he set up, I mean, he had what was it, a stroke rehab area center. And in their rehab center, they had a karaoke machine that they would use for healing after strokes. The fact, and what he taught me is the facts are is that when you sing from one side of your brain, and when you talk from the other side of your brain. So if you had a stroke and you can't talk, which is pretty common for some people that have strokes, they can't talk. They have to learn how to talk all over again. He found that when you put them in front of a karaoke machine, that eye to brain connection and singing, he found out that the rehab on speaking was like 4 times faster just by starting them singing. So there's a lot of healing modalities. I know Vietnam vets who, one Vietnam vet in particular had PTSD, severe PTSD. He was a loner. He never went anywhere. When he got back from Vietnam, he got into drugs really bad, and then he got into alcohol really bad, and then he gave it all up, and then he became a food addict. I mean, the guy, was having very difficult times trying to deal with his PTSD. Well, a mutual friend of mine talked him into coming to karaoke, And he never missed a Friday night, never missed a Friday night. Started losing weight, started socializing with people. And he would tell me, he says, I never feel like going out. He says, I just don't feel like going out. But every Friday night, he goes, I look forward to going to karaoke. He says, it has improved my social life. It has improved my food addiction. He says, it's healed me. It's healed me in so many ways. So that's the other thing too, is I can go to a karaoke bar. I love to go to karaoke bars all over the world and just walk in and because you can meet people. It's really, you have something in common right there. Okay.
It's a very positive event, I think, and very healing. I've met people who are very lonely, and they would show up, and this would be their time for social interaction, which helped them. They met other people. I've met people who have fallen in love at karaoke and created a wonderful relationship together. You
Yes,
know,
you have that in common. You both love to sing, or even if I have a lot of karaoke people that come just to listen or
hmm
to support their spouse or their family member. They
it's a
may,
great show. It is, I
or they'll
think.
sit there in the audience and tap their, feet and sing along in the audience. I mean, that's
hmm
just feeling. You don't have to get up there on the microphone and in front of everybody to get the healing benefits of singing. I really do believe that singing helps probably release endorphins. I haven't really looked that up, but
I believe so. Yeah.
they I also just read an article about some team. It was a sports team, and the coach got them all together to sing karaoke together. So it really helps bond people.
It does.
Yeah, it does. And I call it, we call it the karaoke family. And it is. I mean, you can have all these different backgrounds. You can have totally opposite political beliefs or religious beliefs or whatever divides people, but you bring them in for karaoke and you all have one thing in common. You just want to have fun.
Yeah, and then there's people that hate karaoke, including bar owners. I used to KJ at a bar in Grable, Wyoming, where one of the owners, they had like 4 or 5 owners, pulled me aside and he said, I'm glad you're doing this, but I got to tell you, I hate karaoke. I just hate it.
Well, I found that the bar owners that hate karaoke, it's usually because, no offense to you or anything, but there's some KJs that don't know how to mix properly, and it
hmm
literally hurts people's ears.
hmm
Okay, it hurts. The when I went to the American Legion, that's the first thing the bartender said to me. He goes, "Oh, I hate karaoke. I used to do it in California. I hate it. I hate it." I go, "Why do you hate it?" He goes, "It hurts my ears."
Oh,
So, if you can again, use some techniques to make it so that people aren't going like this,
hmm
and make it sound more better, and so that you're not hurting people's ears. The same guy that said he hated karaoke, after a month of me having karaoke there, his tips quadrupled because
hmm
we went from doing $700 a night to $2,000 a night at the bar.
Ooh, ooh. Well,
So he was making a lot more money in tips. The place was packed every Friday night,
hmm
and I, made a point of using my experience in mixing to try to make everybody sound as good as possible. So one of
mm.
the hard things to do is, well, not hard things to do, but one of the things that people forget to do is they got the vocals way loud, and when you got someone screaming in the mic, it's like distorted, it's hurting people's
No,
ears.
you don't want that. No, the only thing I could have done to help this guy out was to disappear and never show up again. It was just a personal bias he had. I've met others. It doesn't matter how good it sounds. They just don't like the activity for a bunch of reasons.
Did you ever ask them why they didn't like it?
They don't have any kind of profound answer. They just don't like it. They don't like seeing people singing. They don't like hearing people singing. They don't like people getting together to sing. That's just them. Bah humbug type of thing. That's some folks are like that.
A
And
lot of times they've had bad experiences with that. Usually there's a reason why somebody doesn't like it.
oh, always. Sometimes they're not able to articulate why they don't like it. Just, don't like it. And I've been to a number of bars where the bar owners don't like it, but it does help, the bottom line. So they go for it. Now, here's the thing. Um, I noticed in Wyoming a profound difference in attendance before COVID and after COVID. When COVID kicked in the aftermath, it busted up a bunch of groups that would show up, and everything changed. Here in Basin, Wyoming, which is where I am at the moment, and in Grable, which is 10 miles north, we had good karaoke attendance. Then after COVID, it all disappeared. It just.
Well, there's a reason why that is, Frank.
Mhm.
Okay, first of all, um, you're passing a microphone from person to person. Okay, I learned this when I first started doing karaoke at Rockies.
Mhm.
I remember did karaoke, and then the next week hardly anybody showed up. I'm like, what's wrong? Everybody's sick. Everybody's sick. Well, basically, we're just passing the germs around on the microphone to everybody. All the students got sick. So way before COVID, I learned every time somebody sings, I take a washcloth with rubbing alcohol on it. And I wipe off the top, I wipe off the handle, and I hand it to the singer. I do that between every singer. I swipe down that microphone and make darn sure we're not passing any germs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was way before COVID. So obviously when COVID hit, who wants to go up there and sing on a microphone that somebody else just sang on and take the chances of getting COVID?
I've seen all of that disappear, and it remains. I don't know what's happened to them. In fact, in Basin and in Grable, I would say the karaoke is dead. We're talking Wyoming. I'll soon be going up to Cody, Wyoming, to visit with Shelby, one of Shelby's friends, Shelby Cunningham, who does a lot of KJ stuff out there in Beaver Dam, Arizona, and in Mesquite, Nevada. I'll be visiting one of his friends up there in Cody, and Cody is alive and well with karaoke, but down here, nope.
Well,
So,
there's when I started doing it in Elephant Butte, New Mexico, it was dead too. Okay, I approached the American Legion, and they turned me down. The commander said to me, I went up to him, I said, you know what, your Friday nights really suck here, you're not making any money, you really need to do karaoke. And he goes, what-a-oke? He didn't even know what it was, okay? This was a gentleman, and he just thought, what the heck is that? So I said, karaoke, and I explained to him what it was. And he goes, well, I'll guarantee you it won't work here because nobody knows what it is. And I said, well, why don't we just give them a chance to see what it is? I'll do some karaoke gigs here for free and let your members of the club, make that choice whether they want to do it or not. And I guarantee you that over 90% of the members of that club had never sang karaoke or had ever even been to karaoke. Okay? How can you make an educated decision on whether it's going to work or not unless you try it? So the first night we did it, halfway through the show, the commander came up and gave me $200. And I said, well, it's free. I told you I'd do it for free. He goes, no, look at this place. It is packed. It is packed. These people love it. We want to have it here. And like I said, they had it 13, 14 years every Friday night. And it was a success. So a lot of times, especially in small towns, and this is a very, very small town, they don't know what they're missing. So until you actually do it, and you got to do it more than once. You got to get the word out there. If you're in a small town, you absolutely don't have any singers. I could see why it may not work, but I didn't think we had any singers at the American Legion. They didn't think they had any singers. People that told me that they never thought they'd ever get up there and sing ended up doing it and loving it.
Yeah, I have found down here, I found like 4 or 5 dedicated singers, and I've been all the way down to Warland to other karaoke events held by other people. And there were nights when there was nobody there. I mean, nobody. And it's sad. It is a cultural thing. Out here they enjoy fishing, hunting, drinking, going to the bar, eating, not so much singing. Go up north to Cody. Cody is more of, well, it's a population of 10,000, and it's more upbeat. And there's a number of bars that do karaoke and such. So I'm going to explore that. I'm going to see what that's like
There
over
might
there.
be, there's probably hidden singers that you don't even know that are out there. That's the other thing too. When I started holding these competitions with, $500, $1,000 prizes,
Mm-hmm.
the singers are coming out of the woodwork. Believe me,
Mm.
there are singers there. There's singers
Yeah,
everywhere.
you got to find them. So far, I haven't found so many, but that's all good. We keep trying.
Oh,
Are
and
you
the
going?
other thing too, Frank, is a lot of it. And I mean, this is you had interviewed Tammy.
Yeah,
Prime example. She had been singing most of her life, but she was just too shy to sing
yeah.
in public.
Tammy Dactyl. Yeah, you can see she's
I,
shy. A great
so
performer.
the other thing that I did to help people that wanted to sing, but they were too shy and they were too insecure to sing at the venue in front of everybody, is I had started a studio there in Truth or
Mm-hmm.
Consequences. Just a little studio. It had a little recording device and my karaoke setup. And I would charge them by the minute. They would come in, I'm like, okay, what song do you want to sing? Let's find the key. Is that song too high for you? Is it too low for you? Let's find the perfect key for you to feel comfortable singing the song.
Mm-hmm.
They may practice it 5 times, 20 times until they nailed that song. I had a lot of singers that never sang publicly, but once they'd come into the studio and practice and practice and practice, they felt comfortable singing. And
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, they're at the karaoke show singing. So a lot of it is practice, practice, practice. I also had a lot of people that, because I can set up equipment and, roadie for bands, I did all that stuff. So I would go into their house and help them figure out what kind of systems to buy and set them up with their own karaoke system so they could practice right there at home.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a wonderful thing. I enjoy singing at home. I put on the headphones that everybody sees me wearing right now. Put up the reverb. Bring up carafun.com because they've got like 50,000 songs on there, and it's just a $10 subscription. And I enjoy it. But one of the things that is important that you mentioned is that they'll sing a song 15, 20 times to get it right. Well, that becomes almost a form of meditation. While you're doing that, you're not thinking about negative things. You're not thinking about bad things. It's a time out from all the mental frustrations and aggravations and everything else. It's just a time unto itself where you're just totally focused on this.
exactly. And I had even thought about doing custom karaoke CDs back when we had karaoke CDs where you put this CD on if you want to relax. It would have songs that would help you relax, or songs that you want to, I just want to get some energy. So energy songs are, let's say you're just really, really sad and you just really need to help release that sadness. And I mean, I cried my way through singing karaoke at home
Mm-hmm.
just to help deal with some sad times. Yeah, I mean, it's very healing. You can release so much by singing and create different moods by your songs. Sometimes, I'll go to a karaoke club and everybody's singing all these high beat songs and everybody's dancing. The last thing I want to do is go up there and sing a super sad song, So I try to feel out the crowd. Like I don't want to mess up the mood, so to speak.
Yeah.
Sometimes people, they're eating dinner and they're all relaxed and they just want to hear some, real nice old love song. So it really depends on the environment and the crowd. I kind of go with what I think is the energy of the house at that time.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all good. What does the future hold for you? Are you going to KJ again, or are you not going to do it ever again, or what?
Well, the one thing I learned about going to Hawaii for 5.5 months, I mean 5.5 years, is my chronic back problem went away because I was loading this equipment. It's hard. You got to touch that equipment 6 times per each show, and it was messing up my back pretty bad. So I healed up my back, And I got, now you can get good sounding speakers that aren't as heavy. And I don't have all those CDs I have to haul
Oh
around
God, no.
and computerized. So, yes, I do want to do some more karaoke. I don't want to do a lot, but I love to mix sound. I love it. I love to host karaoke. And so we'll just see. We'll see what happens. I just moved to a new town. I'm not hosting at this point, but definitely people have been talking to me about possible karaoke hosting. So we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I do enjoy going and singing. I do it at least twice a week. So yeah, I'll sing until the day I die. Me, it's and it gets me out. You know, I'm not really a big social butterfly kind of person. I love to go out and have a nice meal. I like to listen to live music and go to karaoke. So that's my social life pretty much.
Well, thank you for your time and for sharing with us what your experiences have been with karaoke. I look forward to hearing that you are going to be hosting someplace and hope to be able to attend. Tell you what, why don't you give us some closing words?
Well, I just want to say I hope you do find a place there in Wyoming to be able to host karaoke and get more people involved because it is very healing in so many ways, and you don't have to drink to enjoy karaoke. And you can meet a lot of people that way too. So, as you know, so I just, whether you want to sing in front of a crowd or not, it's always good to go just to sit and observe and talk to people. It's a comfortable setting. Like, I don't know, sometimes I've gone into, private clubs or to bars and you sit there and you end up sitting there for 3 hours and you don't talk to anybody.
Yes, that's right.
And they're, very cliquey, sure, whatever. You don't know anybody, but like I said, I've gone around the world in the karaoke bars. You sing one song, and all of a sudden, people are coming up to you and talking to you. So,
Yeah, it
yes.
is, it is a facilitator for social interaction. It definitely is. Cindy, thank you so
And
much.
another
Huh?
thing too
Yeah.
is no matter how they sound, whether you like their voice or you don't like their voice, they're up there singing. And so I have always encouraged after every singer has ever sung, I'm like, let's hear it. Let's hear
Oh
it for
yeah, yeah,
them.
absolutely.
It doesn't matter how good or how good a stage presence you have or anything like that. Just support your karaoke singer. The other thing too is if I would have people coming up to the front right by the singers and talking really loud, talking over the singers, I would politely ask them to please go to the back of the venue. I mean, if you come here to talk, go to the back and talk, but
Hmm.
have some respect for the singers. Don't sit there and try to overtalk them. It's karaoke. They only get it once a week. Give them some respect. If you don't like it, like I say, either leave or go back to the back of the room.
Hmm.
But I mean, karaoke has lasted for many, many years. I don't see it going anywhere because of um, the social aspect of it and the healing aspect of it. Karaoke heals, and that's basically how I want to end this whole segment. Is to say it's very healing, whether you sing it at home or in a club or look at all the people that sing in their cars or sing in the showers. I mean, I started off singing in my car when I was, 16 years old. I got a car with my little Beatles cassette and singing at my lungs, in the car. So,
Yeah.
yeah, singing surely will not hurt you. Oh, by the way, my doctor had told me because we found a little problem with my lungs, and she says the best thing you can do is sing every day, Cindy. Sing every day. So we know it's healthy, and it's really healthy for our lungs. I had Alzheimer's patients that their doctors told them, yes, sing karaoke. It's good for Alzheimer's. It's good for dementia. It's good for a lot of health problems. So whether you go out or not, sing. Just sing your heart out. It makes you feel good.
Well, thank you so much. As soon as we're done here, I will sing. Thank you, Cindy. Hope to see you hosting sometime soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, folks, thank you for listening or watching. And until next time, sing on. Bye bye.
Today I started loving you again.